Morning. Should take a drink before I hit play. Okay, so I'm going to make a video on how to make an Alexa skill, and specifically it's an Alexa flash briefing. A flash briefing, if you're not familiar with it, and I'm learning a lot of people aren't, let's go ahead and look at the definition of a flash briefing. Let's see. Okay, let's read this article. But the way this article describes flash briefings are a subset of Alexa skills, which is basically mean it's another type of skill. And skills are, you have apps for your phone. Skills are Alexa voice user interface. It's called skills. You get skills by making skills.
Okay. Do you want to try country song quiz? It is one of the most used skills this week.
And my Alexa turned on. Alexa, stop. So that'll be fun.
I didn't quite get that. Do you want to try country song quiz?
No, Alexa, stop. Okay. So I'm not going to say her name anymore. And so they can be very newsy, like they're from ESPN and CNN, but they can also provide some inspirational quotes, jokes, anything. And the intent for a flash briefing is not to be like a long drawn out podcast, which is one of the perks of it. The intent of a flash briefing is to last on average 2 minutes. Okay. Now there can be a call to action where you listen to this flash briefing, and then if you want to learn more, check out this website, check out this podcast, whatever. An example being is Dave Ramsey. He has a flash briefing, and what it does is it's like a 2-minute spiel on whatever Dave Ramsey's talking about, and then it says to learn more, check out our podcast. And that's one of the advantages of flash briefings. So one of the other advantages of utilizing flash briefings or having a flash briefing for your business or service or as a teacher, which is the point of this whole demo here, is it's a way for anyone, customer, student, whatever your target population is, to hear your message without having to call upon it specifically. And the way that works is like, what they would go to Amazon.com and look up flash briefings. And if they find your flash briefing, they would just add it. So let me go ahead and go through that process. Let's see, AWS, Alexa, store. Let's see if that finds it. Okay. And I want to look up flash briefings and see if it gives me what I want. Yep. So here's some flash briefings, and you saw how I just did that. It's everyday positivity flash briefings, positive flash briefing, Alexa skills to help lift your day. So NPR news on this day in history, things of that nature. CNN, joke of the day, and you can see ratings, NASA breaking news, and things of that nature. So this is NASA breaking news. Say I want to listen to that. I would click on it. It would, give me a little blurb or whatever it is, like the language supported. And with the description, get breaking news direct from NASA, learn what's new, NASA conveniently. So all I would have to do now, I'm already signed into my account, same account as what's in Alexa, and make sure it doesn't start talking. And so I would just click enable, and that's it. That's all I got to do. So anybody can create one of these Alexa skills, and or flash briefings, and it's really not that hard, especially if you do it as your own voice, like you're recording your own voice and your own soundtrack. I'm using Anchor FM, which we'll be talking about here in a little bit. It's super easy. There's no coding involved to get started or to have it update as frequently as you want. If you're a teacher, if you want to do it on a daily basis, so your students have reminders to check their email, check the discussion board to make sure they do their discussions, deadlines, things of that nature, as opposed to sending them an email, which I think we all can pretty much agree does not get checked as often as we should by everybody. I was having a conversation the other day with a lady, and I was telling her I have so many emails that just I don't always check them all. And that's just the reality of it. But anyways, aside from that, what this can do as an Alexa skill, it's an easy way to give an alternative, an option for students, your customers, whoever your target audience is, to hear what you're trying to tell them. So as you heard earlier, I have an Alexa Echo Dot. Don't start. Okay. But you don't need that. You can actually have an app. My iPhone is in the middle of updating, so I will show you, but it's in the middle of updating. And you can download the Alexa app on your phone, so you don't even if you don't have an Alexa device, enabled device, you can still use Alexa. I have an iPhone. I'm assuming that there's the same thing for Android. I don't have an Android, but I'd be very surprised if they didn't have one. So what I'm going to do is want to go through the process of getting started with creating an Alexa skill, or Alexa Flash Briefing rather. And the two resources that I'm using are Anchor FM and Alexa Developer Console.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Alexa, stop. Okay. So I'm actually going to create this one for my Washington State Community College students, because I already have one called the Hawking College News. So I'm going to do this one for my Washington State Community College student, just as a reminder of whatever they need to do. Okay. So you need a unique login, or you need to create an account, which is where I'm at right now. So I'm going to do sign up, my name. What is my... I think that's right. I'll pause this while I make sure that's the right email. Yeah, that's right. I can't remember if it was Penwell T or T Penwell. Okay. And yes, I'm not a robot. Okay. So Anchor FM is primarily meant to be like a podcast. It's not player, a podcast platform. And what that means is, like, you can record podcasts, you can record the audio. There's a visual component, but I think it's just basically text. And you can record the audio, and then you can put it on all the podcast platforms that are out there. Podcast players like iTunes, whatever else there is. I just know the ones that I listen to. So all in Spotify, I know that's on there. And once this finish creates, then we'll be able to see all the ones. But if you want to create a podcast, you can put it all on the platforms that you want to select. And but if you don't want to create a podcast, you don't have to do that. If you just want this to be for the intent of to talk to your students, which is what my intent is going to be here as soon as it finishes creating, and or whatever your target audience is. So I'm going to pause this while this is creating. Okay, so it took me a few minutes, and this was still doing the previous thinking page, like when I left off. And what I did was I clicked on the Anchor logo, and that seemed to refresh the page, and it told me I needed to verify my email. So I did, and it took me into open up another tab. So this is after me verifying my email. So it gives you some instructions here on making your first episode. Let's do it. And this you can do on your phone. You can download the Anchor app on your phone, and my update is finished, obviously. And you just need to log into your account on Anchor, or you can do it on your computer. Now, this is web-based, so even this should work on all devices, like Chromebook, PC, Mac, things of that nature. I don't know how the different works with different browsers. I'm on Chrome, and so that's my recommendation. Anyways, so you can create your own episode. Good morning. So this is my tutorial on how to create your own an Alexa skill, or actually specifically an Alexa Flash Briefing, so they can share with your students or your customers, whoever your target audience is. Alexa Flash Briefings are a great way to communicate to your target audience, whoever that may be. You can share the fact that you have the Alexa skill, and they can call upon that skill as a flash briefing every morning whenever they're getting ready for work or school. It's completely auditory, so there's nothing they actually have to look at. They can just, or press buttons. If they have an Alexa enabled device, they can just say, Alexa, play me my flash briefings, and Alexa will go through the queue of playing all of the flash briefings that that person has subscribed to. So what you would need to do is just make sure that your target audience is aware of your flash briefing, and then they can subscribe completely free of charge. So Alexa Flash Briefings are intended to be approximately 2 minutes, give or take. So right now I'm a little over the 1 minute mark, so I'll be ending this soon. And if you have any questions on Alexa Flash Briefings or how to get started, please let me know. Thank you. So you can see that you saw I just basically spoke, and it's processing. I'm going to pause this while it's processing. It's done processing. So I can just drag this over here. Drag that over there. There we go. Now you can do sponsorships and stuff, but for this purpose, we're not worried about that. Let's see. So for this Alexa skill, the flash briefing, this is all I'm going to have is recording. Now, if you're wanting to add some other bells and whistles for a podcast, or even for a longer Alexa skill that's not the short flash briefings, there's some other cool things that you can do in here. There's messages, libraries is basically the things that you recorded before. Transitions can be a little audible, just to do whatever you want it to do, like attention. I might add that in there. I kind of like that. Kind of sounds like school. So the way you do that is just drag and drop. Let's see, preview episode. Good morning. So this is my tutorial on how to create your own. Okay, so you don't need to listen to me do that again, but you can see the little audible was 3 seconds. My recording was a minute and 21 seconds, so still under 2 minutes, which is the ideal time for, it says here, total length is 1 minute, 24 seconds, which is still the ideal time for an Alexa skill. Okay, so what do? We're going to hit save episode. Creating an Alexa Flash Briefing. Creating a tutorial on how to do an Alexa Flash Briefing.
Here's your news.
Alexa, stop. Okay. Anyways, so this is more useful if you're actually doing a podcast. If you're not doing a podcast, it may not be that useful, but it is required for you to have it. Okay. You can do publish date now. You can do season 1, episode 1, things of that nature. Again, this is probably more relevant for a podcast than it is for a flash briefing, but if you want to play with it more, this is your opportunity. I'm not going to worry about the episode art begin, because that's more related to a podcast. Hit publish now. Okay. Podcast name is, I should have thought of a name beforehand. Tasha Penwell, WSCC. Okay. Tasha Penwell, class reminders for Washington State Community College students. Is there an education one? Education. English. Okay. Not choose one for me. That's fine. That works. Sure. I want it back. Okay. Now I can change this later. I mean, this stuff you can edit later, but it's like I said, it's more relevant if you're going to be doing a podcast than an Alexa skill. Okay. So we're going to just go ahead and close that out right now. Okay. So this is the Anchor FM side, and this is just one of the podcast interfaces, platforms, or whatever that's out there that you can use. But this is the one I use, and I like it, so I keep using it. But we're going to actually go into Alexa Developer now. So I want to sign out of this, maybe sign out. And I already have an account. If you don't have an account, you would need to create an account. Go ahead and sign in. And in here, you can see some Alexa skills that either have live or are in dev, meaning like they're currently working on, and some haven't worked on for a while. Just need to clean this up. But anyways, what we're going to do is create a skill. So I'm not going to go over all the nooks and crannies of Alexa Developer Console. We're just going to be focused on the stuff that we need to do for the Alexa skill. So we're going to create a skill. And we're going to name the skill Tasha Penwell WSCC. It's in English. We're going to create a flash briefing. I think that's all we need. Create skill. Okay, for anything that sounds like custom that you have to enter an error message, I usually just look at this and copy that. Skill name is not available at the moment. So skill name is Tasha Penwell CC is not available at the moment. Okay, hit save. And you can, if you want to hear what it's going to sound like, you can.
Tasha Penwell WSCC is not available at the moment.
Okay. So, and the reason that's kind of important is because you're going to have names, like how is Alexa saying the name, which if they're not saying it right, I just recommend doing another one because that's a whole other episode of, I don't even know how to do that yet. But the WSCC, it being, letters, make sure it's not trying to enunciate something. It's just make sure it's sounding right. Okay, ready to hit save. This. So add new feed. Preamble. So again, I look at the question mark thing here to get inspiration and basically just copy what they say. And developer news. And today's news from Tasha Penwell, WSCC. So sometimes I copy verbatim and sometimes not. Identifies this feed, for example, developer news. Tasha Penwell, WSCC. How often are you going to update it? You can choose on that. Daily, hourly is definitely not an option. Daily, for a teacher, it might be good. Might be, for me, it's a little overly ambitious considering I only have one night a week for that class. And weekly, we're going to go with weekly. And if it's more than that, great. If not, that's fine. Content type is audio. Now you can do text. Now what text will do, hey. Okay, I'm back. So this is where the text versus audio. So, sorry, I got distracted earlier. So might be off sequence here, but just go with it. So you can do text, and what text does is, Alexa has that voice, and it just, so you can put the text in there, and she'll just say that the words. She'll cite the text, so to speak. Okay. But I actually prefer audio. I like the real person's voice. Like Dave Ramsey has his real voice. I do hear some Alexa skills, Flash Briefings that uses Alexa voice because it's just from the script, from the text, but I actually prefer the real audio person's voice. But that's just me. And for that reason, this is what we're going to focus on. So genre, if I'm saying that right. Let's see. Trying to find something. Headline news. I don't know. We'll go with that. So, and then the feed. Now, this is where we go back to Anchor. And let's see, where is it at? Settings. I'm trying to remember. Give me a second. I might be pausing this while I try to remember how to do this. I'm going to pause this. Okay, so I'm on the dashboard, and then you see where it says available on one platform. Click on that. Now, if you want to actually make this a podcast, then you can go through this options down here. Anchor will automatically put it on whatever podcast you want: Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, Breaker, Castbox, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public. I think I said iTunes earlier, I meant Apple Podcasts. But anyways, this is what you're wanting, this RSS feed. So click copy. And then we go in here. And then we paste that in there. Make sure I paste the right thing. Okay. So we do need an icon. As you saw in here, there's these icons. So we need to create an icon. So what I'm going to do is take this artwork that we already have here, save image as, and it gives you information so that it has to be 512 by 512 PNGs, or JPEG. Okay. So because this is the way I did it like a long time ago and I still use it, I'm just going to open up Paint. Okay, hit resize, pixels, maintain, and unclick that. May not matter if you unclick that or not, but I just do. Hit OK and save it. Hit add and hit save. Okay, and let's see here. Okay, no models can be used or with Flash Briefing models. Account linking, not compatible with Flash Briefing pre-built model. And permissions, does not support permissions. So for Flash Briefings, this is all pretty much all you get to do. So make sure, I think I already hit save, but let's just make sure. Okay, for coding, there should not be anything code related because it's a Flash Briefing. Testing, I don't know there's a test. Let's see, let's go ahead in development mode. And I don't think Alexa Flash Briefings work with testing. I want to bypass this right now. It could be wrong, but I'm just not going to worry about it right now. Distribution. Okay. So the public name is Tasha Penwell WSCC. One sentence description is updates for Tasha Penwell's class at WSCC. I'm going to copy that, paste it down here, and then just spell out. Okay. What's new? What do I have to put in? What's new? Oh, nothing new on that. Okay. So what all you have to do whenever somebody who's, has some flash briefings that they're subscribing to, they just say, Alexa, play my flash briefing. I told her to shut up now she's not talking. But anyways, Alexa, play my flash briefings.
Tasha, here's what's new this morning. In today's news from Tasha Penwell, WSCC.
Good morning. So this is my tutorial on how to create your own Alexa skill, or actually specifically an Alexa flash briefing, so they can share with your students, your customers.
Alexa,
your
stop.
whoever. I did not expect it to be there already. Okay. Anyways, it works. It didn't work before I thought it was going to, but whatever, it worked. So the small skill icon. Let's go ahead and finish this up. So I'm going to open up Paint again because now this needs to be 108. So I'm going to click resize, pixels, 108, hit OK, and I'm going to file, save as, PNG, and just put 108 just so I know it's the 108 one. .108, and the other one was 512. Category, education, keywords can be Washington State, community, college. Can't spell. Don't leave it like that. Don't worry about the private. I'm not worried about the privacy policy URL or the terms of use URL. If you have a concern about that, you can save and continue. Does the skill allow users to make purchases or spend real money? No. Does it take users' personal information? No. Is skill directed to, or does it target children under the age of 13? Mine is no, because mine's are college students. If yours is yes, then there's maybe some things you might need to do. Does the skill contain advertising? No. Export compliance, testing inspection. All you got to do is say, Alexa, play my flash briefings. Now this stuff right here, now you already saw it's already working.
Here's what you haven't heard yet today.
Alexa, stop.
In today's news from Tasha Penwell, WSCC.
Alexa, stop.
Okay. It's working, as you can already tell. But this stuff right here, it's probably going to be more useful whenever you actually create an Alexa skill. Make sure. Just so it works now. You can fill this in. I think you actually do have to fill it in. But just be aware, this is probably going to be more useful whenever you're creating an Alexa skill, as opposed to just an Alexa flash briefing. Save and continue. Public, leave all that. Pause this while it's validated. Okay, so this is good. Validation, last time validations were checked, which is just now. There were no errors. We recommend to validate all skill changes by running the validation test every time you submit a skill for certification. So again, this is a flash briefing and it's using audio. So You probably won't update it that much. Maybe the icons if you want to change the imagery of it, but other than that, you probably won't do a whole lot to it. So we hit submission. So publishing preference, certify and publish. Just no, we want to go ahead and publish it. Because what you're hearing right now, maybe because it's tied into my account, if I had to guess. So it's not published yet. But you can, like I said earlier, you heard how it sounds. But I think that the reason that I was surprised that it was already playing was because it's just tied into all my Alexa accounts. I think that was the reason why. I'm not worried about version message. Okay, submit for review. Okay, and there now it's under a review. And hopefully it should, after, I don't think it takes terribly long. What will happen is it'll be live. Okay. So let's go to Alexa Flash Briefings. Let's go to My Skills. I already got. So,
Tasha, here are the stories you haven't heard yet today.
Alexa, stop. Okay. So the skills that I have is the Dave Ramsey show. I need to clean up some of this stuff. I don't listen to it anymore and always skip it. You can tell Alexa to skip if you don't want to listen to something. So, boom, 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 boom. Okay. So this is talking college computer science news. And I thought I had it enabled. Maybe it's enabled on another account. Anyways, so this is what's going to look like when it becomes approved and becomes through Alexa here. When this is all approved, it will eventually go to here, the Alexa store. And all you need to do is just tell your students, as like, maybe explain what flash briefings are, and let them know that they can use an app, or if they have an Echo, an Alexa enabled device, they could use that as well. So that's pretty much it. And if you're interested in learning a little bit more about Alexa, if you're an educator.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
Alexa, stop. So you go to AWS Educate, or you would click, if you're not already on AWS Educate, you would click join, and the application process is pretty minimal. And if you're an educator, you would indicate that you're an educator. You would fill in the information, and I forgot what step 3 is, but it's not hard. I see the promo code's optional, so don't worry about that. They always ask about a promo code, but don't have to worry about that. But if you are an educator and if you're curious about learning about Alexa, whether it's to introduce to your students or just for personal use, once you have an AWS Educate account, what you can actually have access to, which is really good. Find the right thing. I think it's that. Yep. Okay. So if your students are 18 or over, they will see something called an Alexa badge. Now, this is a great introduction onto Alexa technology and how they can use it. It doesn't really focus on flash briefings because it's more of an RSS feed than actual coding base. And, as you saw in this tutorial, mine wasn't really heavy coding base. It was just using the different platforms to make it all work together. But if you have students 18 or over, this is a great way for them to learn about Alexa. And if you have students that are not 18 or over, if they're under 18, they have access to all these other badges, but not this, okay, because that's 18 and over. Oh yeah, there's a couple down there as well. But what's also nice is even if your students are under 18, you can have access to this. So you would click on your badge. And it's on Canvas LMS if you're familiar with it. If you're not familiar with it, it's It's a nice interface. It's a nice LMS to work with. So it gives you a little bit of idea about what you're going to be doing, and the duration is 10 to 15 hours. And what happens after you complete it is, I don't know where mine's at. Somewhere I have digital badges where I've already acquired. Oh, there it is, maybe under here. Okay, here. So what happens is you can collect digital badges, and you can see I've started some, haven't finished. But these are the ones that I have finished. And I have a cloud practitioner certification. But that's an industry credential that's not related to AWS Educate. Anyways, if you're interested in getting started with an Alexa skill, a Flash briefing specifically, and you need help getting started on it, or if you're interested in learning more about Alexa as an educator or student, let me know, because AWS Educate, if you're over 18, is going to be a great resource for you for Alexa. And even if you're not 18 or over, there's a lot of other great resources in here as well. Like you saw earlier, let's go to this one. You have access to different kinds of modules and courses that really will open your eyes onto possibilities and options that you may not have realized. And then the other one, the badges that you saw the first time, you can learn about Deep Lens, Robot Maker, Sumerian, which is augmented reality, virtual reality, which is a lot of fun, and gaming and IoT. So there's a lot of different things that you can explore, even if you're under 18. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you.